Hello and welcome to Soul Symbols. My name is Shelley. I'm a writer, an astrologer, and a card reader, and I'd like to welcome you to my channel. I want to just let you know that it is the 20th of the month, so guess what day it is? It's D20, baby. And what that is every 20th of the month, I host a very special kind of fantasy-based card reading. It is kind of loosely based on games like Dungeons and Dragons, so I do call it the Dungeons and Dragons reading. What it is that I have a special type of cards called the Raven's Wand Oracle, and all of the names of my cards and the materials I use are in the description box below. But what I do is I go ahead and I pull one of these cards and I give an overall energy. So this reading is very versatile. You could use it as a monthly reading if you prefer not to have like weekly readings, or you can use it as just kind of, I just feel like fantasy-based games, and kind of let you be your ultimate self and in fantasy and in make-believe. And that really speaks to a very, it's almost speaks to your core personality. So when we read the cards through that vision or through that persona, I think it tells you so much about your full potential. So it's kind of like a hybrid of Dungeons and Dragons and tarot and card reading for meditative purposes, which is what I'm all about. And so again, the way that it works is that I have 3 tarot decks. The 3 tarot decks, tarot is kind of the meat of the reading. It gives the most description for it, but I get your story from the Raven's Wand, and then I go ahead and clarify using the tarot deck that you choose, and then we go ahead and intensify the reading with some oracle. And then to finalize the reading, I have a special set of dice that are chakra dice, but they are D&D dice in chakra colors. I know, how cool is that, right? Kind of go big or go home, right? So what I do is I pull one of these dice, and we take into consideration what kind of dice it is. The dodecahedron is my favorite, personally, but and it corresponds to a chakra color, so we read that as well. So it's a very comprehensive read. It's a lot of fun, and all you have to do to participate is pick a deck. The timestamps, if you want to jump straight to the reading, are in the description box below. I do ask that you just kind of choose from your gut instinct. Sometimes you're drawn to a certain deck, even though it might not have, even though I do put stones, like today I'm going with all animal themes, which I thought was kind of a fun thing. For the first deck, we have the Vice Versa Tarot, and I have a Jasper Eagle. And this guy is so cool. He literally stands up, but then he can also lay down flat, and he's just badass all around. So that's the first deck. The second deck is the Anna K Tarot, and I put a Unikite turtle with it. And then the third deck I have is the Witch's Tarot by Ellen Dugan, and you have an agate, I never know if I'm saying it right. You have an agate cat, and it's a sleeping cat. And it's honestly the only cat that I've seen in that design. I was so lucky, I just kind of snatched him up. But that's a really awesome deck. But some folks like to just kind of look at the decks and get an idea of where they're being pulled. I noticed that sometimes it can be, just kind of this pull in the center of your chest. Either that, or you just feel drawn to the deck for whatever reason. It could be the artwork, the way that it looks, the colors. You could be drawn to the animal or the type of stone. And one thing that I've noticed, I usually, when it's me picking a deck, I usually go with what I'm drawn to, but sometimes after I pick it in my head, I'll go down and look at the timestamp, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like 1313 or something, a number that's been speaking to me. So, and in that same vein, if you always have a favorite number, like maybe the number 1 is always your favorite number, you could go with that as well. But yeah, so that's how it works. It's always a really good time. So I'm going to go ahead and freeze the video and let you choose. If you need some more time, go ahead and pause the video and really kind of just look at the cards, and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, we're back. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go start with the first one, which is the, this is a jasper stone, by the way. It's a red jasper. We're going to go with the red jasper eagle. And the way that it works is we're going to go ahead and pull your raven's wand first. We're going to pull your story first. And I have this, it's interesting. The card backs kind of have a stone in the middle, and I always put this stone with it. You can see that, and it just goes. I'm sorry, I'm Libra, I coordinate everything. But all right, so let's get your Dungeons. Deck number 1. What is your Dungeons and Dragons story? Ooh, that fell just like this against my hand, so I'm going with it. Destroying Angel. Oh my gosh, this deck is kind of badass. It's always positive, and we're going to read your story in a minute. But you got Destroying Angel, and that's actually a very cool card, and you'll see why in a minute. But let's go ahead. So what holds you back? So this is your story. We're going to see what holds you back. What holds deck number 1 back? I'm going to go ahead and take it this way. What propels them forward? Oh, thank you. And what it is with the vice versa tarot, there is no formal card back. When it flips, it's meant to be read as the reverse of the card. So that's how I'm going to read it. If the card taps, that's what I'm going to do. Okay, I'm going to take this as a clarifier. There were more cards. Okay, and that is the Knight of Swords. This is a really bad butt deck too. I'm sorry. I've already said badass. Why am I? Sorry guys. I don't know why I'm editing myself. These videos are not marked for children anyway, so I'm not sure why I'm being so stodgy about it. All right, so let's go ahead and let's go in this order. We'll go ahead, and this is going to be your guidance in this situation. Like what guidance can deck number 1 take for this? And you got 2. I'm gonna go ahead and go with both. And I go ahead and I went with animals on all of the I went with clarifying stones that are animals. So your guidance, you'll have a little gray rabbit. And what is the heart? And this is the dragon's heart. What is the heart of this situation? Please tell us, what is the heart of deck 1 situation? Thank you. Wow, guys. All right, I'm seeing a story. The story is there. And last part, we're going to go ahead and leave this. This is the heart, the dragon's heart of your situation. And what's your stone? Let's get your chakra. Okay, you got an upside down 5. And let's double check. That's the 6th chakra. So it's the 3rd eye chakra and 5. Okay, wow. Wow. All right, so let's go ahead and let's read your story. And so your Dungeons and Dragons story is Destroying Angel. And again, there's no bad cards, and it's really quite interesting. I love this card deck. But Destroying Angel. Separated from their fellows, a small band of witches finds themselves lost in a hostile land. Freya Albright has taken her leadership to heart, perhaps too much. She believes their hopes for getting home rely on her. She's a fighter as well as a healer, hence her nickname Destroying Angel. But she believes she must stand alone. Like Freya, whose motivation is simply to do her best, sometimes we stand alone out of pride and vanity. Be aware that others might be hanging on your every decision, so be very clear with your words. Let others make their own decisions too, otherwise you stifle their growth. You see, gosh, that is awesome, guys. So what it is that you've heard before, they talk about great power. You have the ability to destroy or create. And that's what you see here. You see this woman who's a warrior, and she's a leader. And you see she even has like a ghostly like griffin hanging onto that staff. That's badass, guys. So basically you have your Dungeons and Dragons story. Where you are right now is you are a great leader. You have a lot of power behind you, and you can use that power to promote growth, or you can break things down. And the thing about life is things are meant to be broken down. Actually, if you get a chance to join me tomorrow, I do a weekly series on Tuesday called How to Tarot. And tomorrow we're going to be talking about the Tower. And that really, I'm getting Tower energy. Because what it is that when you break something down, you're saying, okay, this foundation wasn't strong. Let's go ahead and recreate it better. But the problem is when you tear down what's there, you might be affecting other people, and that's what it's kind of saying. You have a lot of power, and what you think is, oh, okay, I know I'm powerful, but I'm just going to act alone, right? But what you don't realize is that your decisions are affecting other people. If you do something to change something for yourself, you will be affecting the path of other people. So you do want to kind of do a 360 degrees analysis before you make any big changes. Now in the past you got, what holds you back is the Ace of Cups in reverse. So what that tells me is that the Ace of Cups in reverse is it can mean personal fulfillment. In this card, it's someone looking at a statue of this woman, and I kind of get a Pygmalion kind of vibe. A Pygmalion is that old Greek story about this person who created the statue. He was a pottery person. He created a statue out of clay of the perfect woman, and the statue came to life. But what it is that I do think that this might be, what's holding you back might be kind of you pursuing something that you see as being your true love, or something that would make you happy. I definitely get the relationship vibe because this deck depicts it as such. You see this guy just all starry-eyed looking up at this statue, right? So now the Ace of Cups can be your own emotional fulfillment, but I think it plays into a relationship. What's holding you back is that you want to move forward with a relationship with someone, but by doing so it's going to affect other people. Either that, or you have to make changes to responsibility that you have to others. So this is what's holding you back. Now, what propels you forward is you got the Seven of Wands, and you have it in reverse. And then you've got the Five of Wands, and that is also in reverse. Now, the Seven of Wands and the Five of Wands is conflict. It is a conflict card. But the one thing about the Seven of Wands is the guy who's holding his ground. He's fighting for what he wants. So in the future, it is saying that to go ahead and fight for what you want. If you want this relationship with this person, go ahead and tell people that's what you want. But the only caveat is that the feeling that I'm getting is that you can't be all extreme with it. You want to take this in gradual steps. You want to be kind of a gradient with it. If you have to kind of give up one responsibility in order to take on a new one that will make you happy, you almost have to kind of wean the responsibilities that you already have off. It can't be a lightning bolt, and you see how there's lightning and there's fire, and you see a skull on fire and lightning. It looks like you're electrocuting someone. I believe me, I understand that. I have a lot of Pluto in my chart, so I understand completely. What it is that you do not, your definition of making change might not be the same speed as other people's definition of change. So while you would be willing to say, wipe the slate clean in 5 minutes and go ahead and start afresh, that might be too fast or too traumatic for the other people that you already engage with or that you already have ties to. So what it's telling me is that with the Seven of Wands, it's definitely saying what moves you forward, and again, this moves you forward, is go ahead, fight for what you want. But the fact that it's in reverse, I think it's telling you to do it slowly. And the other thing is that when you look at it in reverse, you see how on the front it looks like he has all these staffs coming up at him. It's almost like people are holding the staffs. But when you look at the back, he's already conquered this. You see what I mean? There's no one there. It's almost like you're anticipating a fight that's really not going to be as bad as you anticipate, right? So I think what's happening is maybe you want to go ahead and make drastic changes because you think you're going to get a lot of pushback, but in reality, the pushback might not be as bad as you anticipate. But the only other thing is that the other card you got was the Five of Wands, which is It is conflict. It is, and what it is it's kind of equal conflict. You see how there's one staff in the middle on the ground. It's kind of, I always think of that Mexican standoff where when someone's like, I'm not going to budge. Well, no, you need to budge. I'm not going to budge. It's kind of like that, you know, drawing. I think I see that as like the line in the sand, right? And then each person has two staffs. So it's like, okay, these two guys look completely equal in strength and ability. Who's going to win? I don't know. They, you know, but what you got is you got the card in reverse. And what I see is I see a volcano in the back, and volcano symbolically is exactly this. It's sudden action. It's very Uranian action. If you believe in like, and we are coming up on a month of Aquarius where the sun sign's going into Aquarius, and that sudden action. It's lightning. It's like, okay, I'm going to do this, right? But the volcano means that there's a lot of volatility in your situation, and you would think, okay, with a volcano going off behind you, do you really want to be standing there fighting, or do you want to be running for your life, right? So I think what it's telling you is pick your battles and just be very mindful. You might not get as much pushback as you think that you're going to get. And I do think everything's going to be okay, but the advice, what pushes you forward is definitely state your wants. State your wants and then take the steps that you need to. The other thing that it tells me is that, you know, I really kind of think that your wants are the volcano. I think you've wanted this for a long time. And so it's kind of, I think it's propelling you to knock this conflict out quickly, because, you know, it isn't that you want to shock anybody. It's just these desires have been brewing for a while, and you just want to be happy. You just want to be happy. You don't want to take any more time with the current responsibilities. So you do want to make change, but just, you know, the pushback might not be what you think it is. Just kind of put your wants out there and go ahead and pick the battles that you need to fight, and then fight them diligently. But, you know, you do have to, I do think this is kind of time sensitive, because that volcano is going off, you know, you can't wait much longer. Now, the two advice cards that you got is you got faraway places and miracles. And look, guys, I love these cards. They're so beautiful. Faraway places, get ready for new horizons. I really do think that this could actually mean travel, if you've been meaning to do some travel. And it kind of seems like you're packing up. You're putting what's important for you, what you need for your journey on the boat, and you're getting ready to go. And you definitely see that. You're getting ready to go, right? You're carrying all your gear with you. You got it on your person. You're ready to take the action that you need to. So I think that it's telling you that you will be victorious in this. The other thing you got was miracles. And I love this. It is kind of like that wish. It is saying, expect the wondrous to emerge. So again, maybe you thought that this was going to be a hard battle to be fought, but but it might turn out to be either that, or I really get the vibe. Sometimes when you get into school, you know how you enroll for a class that you think is going to be really easy, and it turns out to be the class that kicks your ass. And then you enroll for another class that's like, you know, advanced calculus, and it turns out to be easier than you expected. I have a feeling, I'm getting this vibe like that's probably what's going to happen, is what you thought was going to be a tooth and nail battle is probably going to be pretty easy, but then there'll be other things that crop up that'll be more challenging. You'll still get your wish. You're gonna get your wish, right? You're gonna get your wish, but it's just gonna be kind of, it might be unanticipated. Now, the heart of the matter is you got unexpected visitors and you got storm fields. And I love these cards. And actually, storm fields is not as scary as it sounds. I'm just going to read it super fast because the book describes it way better. But here we go. So what it is it's an uncomfortable chaos is surrounding you. Things that you've left unattended may be the cause of some conflict. Pent-up energy needs release. Just as a storm in nature must break, for these events occur, turning the page, when the electricity between opposing forces stir things up and creates temporary disorder. Not all storms are destructive. Rather, they serve nature by bringing rain to the ground and wind to the trees, enabling seeds to be widely distributed and continuous growth to be ensured. Just remember that whatever is being stirred up inside you or between you and another will benefit you later. The sun will shine again and the new growth will be observed. Don't be afraid to shake things up a little bit. See, I love that card for that reason, because you talked about pent-up energy. Look at a volcano, y'all. And you said, and it's also telling you that this conflict is okay. I know that sometimes, like me, I'm a Libra person, and anytime I start, scrapping with someone, my mom has a lovely saying that always says that the dynamics between two people, whether you're in love or it's family, sometimes it's like two rocks bumping up against each other. You kind of smooth each other out. But it's not without its conflict. Conflict serves a purpose, right? Just because you bump heads with someone doesn't mean that it's bad. It just means that, again, fight fairly, don't do anything. And just try to balance that conflict. Try to keep it consistent and be like, look, this is what I want. And if you have to bump heads, so be it. Now, the other card that you got was Unexpected Visitors. And Unexpected Visitors is a fun one because it does talk about some unexpected events. Remember how we said, that it might, this might be, you might have a little bit, there might be some delays. And again, I'm getting a real vibe that this might be kind of roundabout. What you thought would go so smoothly might not. And what you thought might be bumpy might go smoothly. So just kind of go with the flow is the vibe that I'm getting. And you're going to be surprised. You're going to be surprised. The way that it shakes out is not going to be the way that you anticipated it, but it's going to be to your benefit and it's going to give you what you want. And the last dice is you got the third eye chakra, and you got 5 in reverse. And again, the fact that we got this is a 5, and I really do get the thing. I think it's reiterating. The third eye is enlightenment. It's almost like you're going to learn from this experience. You're going to learn a lot about conflict resolution, and you're just going to learn to. I am also going with the vibe of that this is just going to teach you something in the overall. It's going to be a point in your life that really enlightens you. Having gone through all this, it's going to transform you. It's going to take you to a higher level of understanding, and I think it's also going to teach you that it's okay to ask for what you want. All right, guys, so that was intense. That was amazing. So that is your D&D story, and that is deck. That's deck number 1. I'm going to go ahead and put your stone there. Where's your? There we go. Our eagle is going to hold our cards in place. Okay, so now we got deck number 2, which is the Anna K Tarot. It's an awesome deck. So let's begin by getting your story. Story comes first. Sorry, I'm so used to the weekly energy readings. So deck number 2, that was fast. Okay, now we've gotten this card before in other D&D readings, but again, every single time we pull cards around it takes on a new meaning. Maybe this is a continuation. I forget which month it was. I think it was November, maybe December. Okay, so what is holding, thank you, and what is propelling them forward? What is propelling deck number 2 forward? What is propelling deck number 2 forward? What propels? Oh, thank you. I'm going to take this too, just because. Oh, I'm giggling because I've seen that combination so much lately. All right. So let's go ahead. Now let's get we got advice first. Sorry, I'm trying really hard to stay in pattern. I like these cards, that's why I like them. Advice for deck number 2, thank you. And what is the heart? What's the dragon heart? Dragon's heart, what is the heart of this matter? you got one of my favorite cards, guys. Okay, and what is our chakra? Chakra. Oh, you got the D20. Ah, it was on 12. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and let's begin by reading your story. It is Spread Your Wings. And I love that because it almost looks like wings in the card, in your map card. Okay, spread your wings. Let's go ahead and let's read. Let's see. Meringue Heron stands with Sohar, one of the 4 guardians of the serpent twins, Hethra and Hala. The great ocean bird is an epic wanderer and has circled the globe countless times. Along the way, he has seen many things, some terrible, some sublime, and his core values remain unchanged. Like Sohar, we should be open to the new experiences, understanding that they don't threaten who we think we are or challenge what we hold important. Instead, experiencing something that might have mystified or frightened us previously deflates all those fears and suspicions, or better still, provides new enjoyment and understanding. So what it is in this story, you are Sohar, that you're the great ocean bird. Meringue is the woman who's in front, but you are the great ocean bird. And what it is it's telling you that, just like birds migrate and they fly over the oceans. In particular, this bird flies over the ocean, and water and ocean means a great body of emotion. So what it's telling you is it's really kind of telling you that maybe you need to explore a little bit. It's saying that he's seen a lot, right? In his travels, he's seen good, he's seen bad, but what it was is that all of that travel, all of that emotional exploration, or just exploration, he's done at kind of a distance. It's almost like it's telling you to kind of get out of your comfort zone. Step out of the box a little bit. There might be things in this world that you've never tried before that you're really tempted to try, and you might be apprehensive, you might be afraid, but it's okay to step out of your comfort zone. That's kind of part of life. The things that you see, sometimes you'll see good things, sometimes you'll see bad things, but it all contributes to your understanding of life, and you will learn a lot from the experience, even though you might be a little hesitant, to do something new or to see something new. Now, what holds you back is the lovers. And what that is you see this old couple that, you can tell. I really love this depiction of the lovers because it's someone who's more mature. It isn't the young, fresh love. It's someone who's been together a long time. So what this might be telling me is that it might be telling me that you might have an existing committed relationship, like you might be married, you might have been married for a long time, and that's completely okay. But what it's saying is that maybe your commitment to a relationship, or your commitment to a marriage, might be holding you back a little bit, and not in a bad way. Everybody reaches kind of phases in their relationships. Maybe you've been together so long that you just know everything's become so routine that maybe you really need to explore a little bit. Not a new relationship. You don't have to go out and, this isn't saying break up a marriage, but what it's saying is maybe try new things. Maybe there's hobbies that you've really wanted to explore, but you've been too busy taking care of home and family, and now you're getting to a point where you don't have to be at home every waking minute, and, it would let you do something new. Now, what propels you forward is you got the King of Pentacles and you got the Knight of Pentacles. And what had me giggling is that the Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving knight in the deck. He really takes his time. You can see the sun looks like it's setting, and he's just kind of smirking like, okay, I'll get there when I get there. And the King of Pentacles, he's a very mature king, and you can be a woman watching this reading and exuding his influence. But what it is it's a very masculine. It's about being kind of a CEO. It's kind of, having a lot of influence, having a lot of money. And so what I see that maybe what it's telling you to do is that, what propels you forward is getting some kind of physical stability, whether that's a new job or some kind of career that you want to pursue. And what it's kind of telling me is that, if it's completely okay to have a romantic relationship or a marriage, but, it would tell you that you can have both. It isn't one or the other, but it is kind of saying that it's very important right now to broaden your horizons. And that's what I kind of see when I see this card too. Broaden your horizons. And you are taking your time with it. You're being very slow. You're being very deliberate with it. And now your advice is you got joy and delight. Open your heart to joy. So what that tells me is that if pursuing a career or pursuing a hobby or just making some more money or maybe even putting in more hours at work, and maybe that's taking you away from home or a relationship, if that's what brings you joy, then go for it. Go for it. You don't have to justify yourself to anyone. Now, of course, if you're in a marriage, you do have to maintain your marriage, if that's your commitment to that person. But if you just communicate that and say, look, I'm coming up in the world, and this is something I've always wanted to do, and it's going slowly, but it's really making me happy. I just really get this vibe like it's telling you, pursue your happiness, right? Pursue your happiness. Do you. And if you are in a relationship, you don't have to completely shelf it, but you might just be putting less energy into it in order to pursue other things or to gain some financial stability. Now, the heart of the matter is you got coming to life. And coming to life says, when you look at your life, can you see how you've grown and evolved over time? Perhaps you've shed skins and identities and created new ones, or at the very least matured in your ideas about yourself and the world you inhabit. Things take time, and Spirit's timetable is rarely in sync with your own. This card indicates that a long-held dream is beginning to show signs of life. You must try not to coax it along or shape it according to your desires. Spirit knows the best form for the manifestation of this dream, and your life can become even better than you could possibly imagine. Now is the time for reverence and awe. Allow the contours of your path to be carved by the hands of the divine. All you have to do is show up. So definitely, guys, and you see how it says, take your time, let the divine kind of create this for you. I think it's telling you that you're on the right path. You're on the right path. The other thing about the lovers is it's kind of a choice, right? So you do not have to commit yourself to anything that's not really bringing you joy. But it is saying go slow. This new path that's coming ahead is coming, very slowly. It's almost in divine timing. So you really don't have to rush it. You don't have to force anything, but just give it room to grow, though. It is, how it said, all you have to do is show up. And actually, if you look at the capes, like on her sleeves, doesn't it look like the wings of this bird, right? And remember how we said the bird said, has seen a lot of things, good and bad. So all you have to do is kind of keep on this path. But I am really getting the vibe is that if you are in some kind of, I'm really kind of getting more of a mature vibe. I'm almost getting kind of not a retirement vibe, but maybe you're doing something new after a long time of doing the same thing. You're just kind of creating a new persona for yourself. And it is unfolding very slowly. The pentacles are slow moving, but they're very steady though. The pentacles are like, they're fiscal prosperity, and they're very long lasting. It's like the foundation of a house. So where you're going is wonderful, and I do see a lot of fiscal abundance there. So just keep going on your path. But, again, if it involves some kind of relationship or marriage, just be communicative. Say, look, this is what's making me happy, and this is happening for me. I'm so excited. Just keep on that path. Now, what you got is your chakra stone. You got the crown chakra, and you got the number 12. And the number 12, historically, this is the D20 die, and the number 12 traditionally means the last house. It's the last house in astrology. It's the last month of the year. Maybe you're born in December, but it definitely talks about kind of concluding a cycle. But it's definitely, and you see how this is like a statue that's coming to life. It's funny, last deck I talked about Pygmalion, the Greek story, but I think what's happening is something that you've wanted for a long time is finally coming to life. And you do not need to delay, all you have to do is keep going on your path. You don't have to exert much energy, but it's a conclusion, is the feeling I'm getting. I'm getting that you've waited for this, you've worked hard towards this for a long time, and it's finally coming to you. So you do not need to give up anything to have this future, but just let it happen. The only other thing I can think of is that a lot of Pentacle energy, especially the King of Pentacles and the Knight of Pentacles, they're very practical and they're very regimed. They don't change their routine very much, right? They're very predictable. Like every Saturday you get up, you brush your teeth, you do this, like you do everything. You always go to the grocery store, you do your laundry on this night. It's very, and it's true of all earth signs, honestly. If you have any Capricorn, Virgo, or Taurus in your chart, you tend to do things in kind of a, predictable way. So it's not telling me that you have to, shake up your routine, but what it is telling me is that if in order to continue on this path, if you have to step outside of your comfort zone, just in a small way, you're encouraged to do that, as long as it's keeping you on this path of abundance. But wow, guys, that's really lovely. I really like that. So that is your D&D story. That's amazing. I always enjoy doing these. These are always so much fun. All right, so we're moving on to the last one. Let me go ahead and put your D20, your D12. So last one, we got the cat, which is an agate, my sleeping cat. And we've got the Witch's Tarot by Dugan. Let's go ahead and get your story first. So deck number 3, what is our, thank you. We've also gotten this card before. In one of the previous. So again, this might be a continuation of your story from a previous month. All right, so what holds us back? What propels us forward? Ooh, we got 8s. We got 8s on either side, guys. That's awesome. Okay, so what is our advice card? Can you see? Yes. What is the advice for deck 3? We got a flipper. And what is the dragon's heart? What is the heart of our situation? Okay, this card is sticking out, you see that? So I'm going to go ahead and go with it. My fingers are also kind of pushing it, so, ooh, okay. Okay. We do also have another card that's called Heal the Ouch that's kind of showing up, so I'm going to incorporate that. I'm not going to pull it, but I'll incorporate it. So let's go ahead and let's read your story. It's Nature of the Beast. And again, these you might have gotten this card before, and it takes on a whole new kind of meaning with the surrounding cards. So that's the beautiful thing about reading cards. It's always a new interpretation. Rooter, or Rudy as the witches know him, is a fearsome wild boar that adopted the coven years ago and appears reluctant to leave. Zorethia Barry takes her turn at feeding him kitchen scraps. None of the witches are afraid of him, not because he's tame, but because they respect his nature. He is wild, and they do not challenge that. Rooter might be true to his nature, but as humans, we have a choice that Rooter lacks. We can choose to be brutish or civilized. Even if it's not an easy choice to make, the decision is ours. So what it's telling me is, and again, you could be either character in this. I really get the feeling that you're the boar, not in a bad way, but you see, and it's funny, in literature, the boar takes on a lot of meanings. I'm immediately thinking of the story, The Lord of the Flies, but it means being wild. It means kind of giving into your desires. You live according to what you feel at a base level you deserve and what you want. And you see, here it's talking about how the covens work. The coven works, these witches live in tandem with him because, again, not because they're afraid of him. They should be. They know that he's a wild animal. He's not domesticated, but they know what it is. They know how he operates, right? Which is according to, it's almost a very primordial sense of self. This is who I am. I go out and I eat and I do this and I live this way. And so here it's kind of telling me that your way of being up until now has been much like the boar. It's been kind of like, well, it is what it is. I am who I am, and I am who I am. I'm all that I am. Popeye the Celebrant. No, I'm kidding. But no, truly, that you've been unabashedly truthful as to how you are, and you've really kind of lived a very transparent, like, okay, but sometimes, but the core of the card, and they even said it, is that you can choose to be that base side of yourself, or you can choose to be civilized. And you see here, even though he's a wild animal, he kind of tones himself down when he goes in and gets his food, right? He kind of has that little string of domestication in him. Now, what's holding you back is the Eight of Cups. And the Eight of Cups is someone walking away from an emotional investment. You see all these cups that are stacked up very neatly, and you see someone who's walking away from it. Now, this is the energy that holds you back. So the energy that holds you back is maybe you've been afraid of some type of emotional commitment, either that or you feel like you just didn't have the time for it, or you weren't in your stage of life. And you can be a man or a woman watching this. Maybe you feel like, okay, I just don't have time for this, or, I don't want a relationship. I also see this as kind of like, I see this as kind of when you see different stages of life, like maybe you see a mother who makes her children her whole world, and you're a single woman and you think, okay, I'm just not at that stage yet. I still want to take care of me, right? I don't want to take care of anyone else. I can't do that. So, you kind of turn your back and just say, yeah, that's not for me, right? That's not meant for me. But what it's telling me is that this isn't what's holds you back. And again, we have eights on either side. Now, what propels you forward is the Eight of Pentacles. And the Eight of Pentacles is perfecting something. It's being really, really good at something. And it can be something new. It's almost like, you see how they're reading a book, they're polishing that pentacle. It looks like the first pentacle was their first attempt, and the seventh pentacle was their seventh. And look, that last eighth pentacle is very shiny. It's perfect, right? So I think what it's telling you is that you might not be terribly good at being civil, but if you tried, if you say, look, yeah, I think I am reaching the stage where I might want to settle down. I might want a family, or I at least want to date seriously, right? So yeah, so it really is just saying, whatever I want to try that's not my normal behavior, right? My normal behavior has been, roam the forest, no obligations, complete freedom. So maybe if you do try to follow something that is a little bit more regimed, whether that be, committing, to a relationship, or, practicing, the other thing about the seven is practicing. You see, it's repetition, it's trying something and trying to perfect it. Now, this could be a new craft, but the fact that we have eights on either side, and the eight that holds you back is emotional, I think it's trying to tell you to kind of be civil, try to give, it could mean give a relationship a chance. You might have kind of, sometimes when you have, there's a lot of really deep-seated kind of apprehensions that you don't even realize that you have. Maybe you're dating someone and you're like, no, they're not my type, I wouldn't be able to do that. But then if you actually give it a little bit of chance, if you put a little bit of effort to it, this person might actually be pretty perfect for you. But all you have to do is, it is a little bit of you taming kind of a little bit of a rambunctious side of yourself to go with it, to give it a chance. And you would probably be very successful at it. That's the other thing about the Eight of Pentacles. You'd be very good at it if you applied your energy and actually, tried it, like legitimately put some effort towards it. Now, the two advice cards that you got Watching Clouds, which is lie back, rest, and relax. And the other thing is fogged in. It says go slow, take time. And the fact that both of these cards have to do with clouds, like one of them is kind of watching clouds and the other one's fogged in. I think what it's telling you is that you don't have to be gung-ho about this. That's the other thing, is that the nature of a boar is very kind of, it's like, go get it. It's all or nothing. I think it's telling you here that you don't have to be all or nothing. And honestly, you're not. The other thing I'm seeing is that you're not going to change an ingrained pattern of behavior in 5 minutes. That's not happening, right? If you've been like this all your life, you're not suddenly going to be the most well-behaved, wearing a bow tie boar that you've ever met, right? So it is going to tell you, and the other thing that it's saying is that, so it's telling you, lie back and relax, kind of take it in an organic way, go slow, learn this in a slow way. The other thing is, you see in this card, the Eight of Pentacles, you see the candle's been burned away for a while, and she's reading a book. So, take your time with it. You're not going to be an expert of it, and just because you're not an expert at it, instantaneously doesn't mean that it can't work for you or that you're bad at it. So take your time and don't rush it. Let it unfold naturally, and just kind of I think it's also telling you, put an organic effort into it. Don't try to, don't try to go against the grain of your own nature. Apply what is your natural temperament to the situation. Don't try to change yourself. Just apply you to what this role is and see if it's a fit. Now, the other thing that we got was fogged in. So I think what this is telling me is, and again, because both of these pertain to clouds, and fog is more of a foggy, if you start to feel discouraged, give it time. You see how it says go slow and give it time? So just like in the dating perspective, maybe you say, okay, yeah, this doesn't work for me. Don't have a knee-jerk reaction the moment it's not working out. This person had a lot of trial and error before they got the perfect pentacle, right? So make time for that. Worst case scenario, if you're starting to doubt it, or if you're starting to feel like, okay, maybe this role isn't for me, just check out, just stop, full stop, and just kind of check in with yourself, and hang out in that hammock a little bit. Think about it, right? Just you see how these people are rowing very rhythmically. They're not rushing. It's almost in tandem. The other thing is, what it tells me is, try to get in tandem. If this involves another person, try to get in tandem with that person. Like, try to get it where you're in beat with them, or let the other person show you how it's done, and then with that information, pull back and just kind of breathe. Because again, you're dealing with a very base nature, and that is wild. That's wild. That's not something that you're just going to put a leash on, right? And then the heart of the matter, the dragon's heart, is follow the leader. And let me go ahead and read this real quick. And I didn't, I almost forgot about your chakra die. I didn't completely forget. We're still going to pull that. But follow the leader. You're being called to lead others by example. Your wisdom has been earned as a result of your bravery and the adventure of your life. The experiences of battles won and lost, places discovered, tears shed, and joy revealed have placed you in a unique position of being of service to others. Your suffering has been crystallized into a talisman of wisdom. Now you must share it. By being fully authentic, you'll lead others into the light. You'll be required to divulge some things about your past so that you may help someone else. Lead with love. There is another message here as well. Look to those whose great character and accomplishments you admire. Emulate the leaders you respect. You will then, in turn, have more to offer. So what that tells me with follow the leader, guys, is that I really think that your experiences, I think by you doing this transformation, you're going to be an inspiration to others. And if you're starting to get discouraged with it, look to other people who have done the same thing. Now, what also stood out to me in that description is it said, be authentic. Be authentic. You don't have to put a bow tie on the boar and say, oh, I'm this domestic. No one's going to believe that, right? Say, I was a boar. I'm still a boar, right? Grunt at someone. you don't have to be anything. You don't have to display yourself as anything but you. Be you. And I think people will respect you more. They actually say that a lot, and I try to remember that, you know, with public speaking, with even just this YouTube channel. You know, people don't want to see other people, perfect people. That's not why we come to YouTube. We want real advice. We want real guidance. We want someone who's actually been there, right? So I know how that is. Sometimes I get real shy. You know, some of these videos that have my face on it, you know, I'm like, oh God, they can see me. They can see more than my hands. But that's human. It's so human. And, you know, and it's not that I don't, you know, I like my face. I think I have a perfectly fine face. But what it is it's saying that by being yourself, by saying, yeah, this is me. Look at me, you know, big toothy smile, big boar tooth smile. This is me and this is what I'm doing. And it also means being authentic by saying, you know, being completely transparent. This is who I am, this is where I'm coming from, and this is what I aspire to be. So that's, and again, that's not going to come perfectly. And I think people are going to admire, people are going to look up to your journey. They're going to watch your journey and go, look, they did that, right? Look at them go. Look at them go. And you'll have support from that. And if you ever need guidance, there will be other, you will find by being, by putting your story out there, you will find other mentors if you need help. That's the vibe I'm getting from that card. So let's go ahead and get your chakra. Get your chakra. Okay. Oh, I'm feeling a triangular one. Nope. Okay. So we got the, oh gosh, the percentile die. Sorry, guys. And you got 90. You got 90. And this is the throat chakra. This is the blue throat chakra. And you know what always amazes me? I just want to throw this out there, is that sometimes I'll watch other readers. I love watching other readers. I'll just play it where I can hear it and watch it. But I think it's so great. Sometimes the other readers will start doing a reading and they'll get into a message like they're afraid to tell you. And the moment they say they're afraid to tell you, their throat starts getting froggy. It's almost like you're channeling to the point where it's like you're experiencing the same throat problem. Right? So with the throat chakra, and I'm not getting froggy, actually, this is very clear. This is clear communication. You got 90%. So what that kind of tells me is that it really tells me that you really, it's almost like you're 90% there. Like you either that or you're really good at communicating. I think you understand where you want to go very well. And I think you're probably 10% shy about talking about this to other people, but 90% willing to give it a chance. So, but if that's how you interpret it, either that or you'd be like 90% successful in doing this. I know the percentile die, I think we throw that. What do we throw that with? We throw that, oh yeah, I'm sorry. We throw that with the heart chakra, which I always think is great. 0, 900%. No, I'm kidding. 0 of 90. So. But yeah, guys, I just think that's awesome. This is a beautiful read. I really like this. And you can see it's all about the surrounding cards. That's how your story unfolds. But all right, guys, so that is our monthly reading. I am so grateful that you joined me today. I so get a kick out of doing this read. It's something I look forward to. I do host weekly energy readings, which are just general. There's no fantasy in it, but they are posted every Saturday. And if you'd like to join me tomorrow, I am doing, tomorrow is How to Tarot Tuesday, and we are talking about the tower. So I hope you can join me then. And for the rest of January, I am still doing the 31 Days of Tarot. I'm really rolling through it. I'm really quite proud of myself. I've been knocking it out. I've had a few weak moments, but you know, almost done. Knuckle tap. And so if you want to check that out at any time, please, they're posted daily at 7 a.m. But I hope you can join me next time, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.